We're learning more about highly classified U.S. documents that appeared online in recent weeks. The Pentagon says the leaked materials pose a serious risk to security. National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby addressed the situation yesterday.
I think the American people need to know and deserve to know that we're taking this very, very seriously. The president has been briefed on this. He will stay briefed on this. The Department of Defense is looking into this. They are leading an interagency effort here to review whatever national security implications might come out of all this. And the Department of Justice is leading a criminal investigation. So we're taking this very, very seriously. There is no excuse.
Here with more insight is CBS News intelligence and national security reporter Olivia Gazis. She joins us now. Olivia, everybody wants to know, where did this come from? How soon could we find the source of this leak?
Sure. Good morning, Omar. Well, according to the officials I've been speaking with, it could be pretty quick, in part because the pool of suspects could be winnowed down pretty quickly. It's a relatively small universe of people who receive this finished intelligence product, which looks so far to be a daily brief prepared for the Joint Staff. Even if you broaden that pool to the people who prepare this briefing, those who are cleared to draw on these highly classified reports from the CIA, from the NSA, from other intelligence agencies, that's still a relatively limited number of people, maybe 100, maybe hundreds. There are also digital clues attached to these files. IP addresses for printers, for computers, possible date stamps on the photographs that appear to have been taken of these documents. So investigators will be looking for those, as well as looking at some of those distinctive items that we see visible on the desk behind the photographs of these documents. And finally, the server, where it looks like some of these images were first posted in March, they really only had a handful of users on it, which is why these documents appear to have been able to float around online before getting picked up on more mainstream sites. So clearly there's enough bizarre details and real unknowns about this person's motivation right now to allow for some curveballs in the investigation, but there are definitely a lot of people determined to see justice done quickly here.
As long as there's been secret documents, there's always been somebody trying to leak them out. But how is this different from past breaches?
Right, absolutely. I mean, any leak of classified documents becomes pretty spectacular because it is still pretty rare and everybody loves a secret, right? This leak in particular has been causing concern because the intelligence in it in some cases only appeared to be a few weeks old. Even a few weeks for adaptable militaries, that can make intelligence pretty stale. And in speaking with these former senior intelligence officials who lived through the Snowden leaks, through the leaks from Manning, and these other sort of huge leaks, they say the scale of this one so far is not really comparable, that the safeguards that were put in place to prevent people from downloading thousands and thousands of digital files onto a thumb drive appear right now to be working. And this is an oddly analog case of somebody walking out or somehow finding and photographing these physical documents. The caveat again here is, as the White House and the Pentagon said yesterday, we don't yet know whether this is everything, whether more is coming, or whether it already is out there floating in another strange corner of the internet, which is another area of scrutiny for investigators right now.
Well, it seems also that secrets can be twisted. So what can you tell us about the potential for disinformation from this particular leak?
It's definitely high with these documents in particular, mainly because it's very difficult to authenticate them without the government's acknowledgement. And the government has very, very little interest in acknowledging authenticity here because they're top secret details that are not supposed to be in public in the first place. So it's very hard to call out some details as false without implicitly saying that the other things in them are true. And what makes it extra confusing is we already know of a few crude-looking alterations to some documents that have emerged, specifically to revise down casualty estimates for the Russians. We're now hearing this morning from the South Korean government in these sweeping and non-specific terms that some amount of those documents that suggested the U.S. was surveilling their conversations were, quote, fabricated. Again, they're supplying no specifics as to what part of what document that means. And so it's coming down to the credibility of public statements from government officials who are otherwise working to conceal these documents from the public, which is why they really lend themselves to a manipulation of facts and narratives around them. That all becomes all too easy and very confusing very fast.
Secret documents and digital disinformation. Olivia, thank you for kind of making sense of it for us.
Thanks, Omar.